Mary Arden, born in 1537, was the mother of William Shakespeare, the most famous playwright in history. Her life, though not as widely documented as her son's, played an essential role in shaping Shakespeare's early years and his later work. She is a figure who stands in the shadow of her son's legendary status, but her life and family background hold significant historical value. Early life and family background. Mary Arden was born in 1537 in Wilmcote, a village in Warwickshire, England, to Thomas Arden and his wife, Agnes. The Arden family was part of the landed gentry, owning considerable land in the area, and were well established in Warwickshire for centuries. Her father, Thomas, was a farmer and a landowner, and her mother, Agnes, came from a family with a distinguished reputation. Mary's lineage was marked by a blend of wealth and status, although her family's fortunes fluctuated during her early life. Mary grew up in a well-to-do family, but despite this, her early life was far from stable. Her father was involved in a few legal disputes, including one regarding his land. By the time she reached adulthood, much of the family wealth had dissipated due to these conflicts. Nevertheless, her social position within the local gentry would have afforded her a relatively comfortable life. Marriage to John Shakespeare. At the age of 26, Mary Arden married John Shakespeare, a successful glove maker and a prominent local figure in Stratford-upon-Avon. John was a man of modest means but had aspirations of greater wealth and social standing. Their marriage took place in 1557, and Mary moved with her husband to Stratford, where they would later raise a large family. John Shakespeare, though initially prosperous, faced economic difficulties over time. He had to endure financial problems, including a period of bankruptcy and a decline in his social status. Despite these challenges, their marriage produced 8 children, with their most famous child being William Shakespeare, born in 1564. It is often suggested that Mary's own family background and connections played an important role in John's ability to maintain his position in Stratford, particularly during the more difficult years. The Arden family, although it was in decline, still had influence and wealth, which may have helped the Shakespeares during hard times. Role as a mother. Mary Arden's role as a mother was central to her life. She gave birth to 8 children, though only 6 survived to adulthood. The birth of William Shakespeare in 1564 was a significant event in her life, although little is known about their relationship. Some scholars believe that Mary had a strong influence on her son, particularly in terms of his education and literary development. William's early education was likely shaped by his mother's guidance. He attended the local grammar school in Stratford, where he would have received a solid education in Latin and the classical authors, which was typical for boys of his social class. Though there is no direct evidence of Mary teaching William to read or write, her connections and the resources of her family may have ensured that he had access to a proper education. In addition to her nurturing role at home, Mary Arden's position in society would have influenced the social networks her family interacted with. Through her family's connections, William would have had access to influential people in Stratford, possibly facilitating his later success in London's theatre world. The Shakespeare family's decline. In the 1570s, the Shakespeare family's financial situation deteriorated, largely due to John Shakespeare's business failures. John had been a successful merchant and had served as an alderman, but his fortunes declined, and by 1576, he was in debt. This led to the loss of his standing in the community. It is also around this time that William, the eldest surviving child, left Stratford to pursue opportunities in London. Mary Arden's influence as a mother during this period is often debated, as she likely saw her son leave at a relatively young age. By 1580, both of Mary's parents had passed away, and she found herself struggling with her husband's deteriorating condition and the growing number of children she had to care for. The household's financial instability may have placed additional stress on her. Mary Arden's role as a mother and matriarch continued to influence her family, even as financial hardship mounted. Later life and death. Mary Arden Shakespeare lived through many of the most tumultuous years in her family's history. After her husband's death in 1601, she continued to live in Stratford, surrounded by her children and grandchildren. In her later years, she remained a respected figure in the local community. Mary Arden died in 1608 at the age of 71, just 6 years before her son, William, would pass away in 1616. It is believed that her death affected him deeply, as they were likely quite close. William was known to have remembered his mother in his will, bequeathing her a sizable portion of his estate. Legacy. Mary Arden's legacy, although overshadowed by her son's immense fame, played an essential role in the early formation of the Shakespeare family. Her background, her marriage to John Shakespeare, and her nurturing role as a mother contributed significantly to William Shakespeare's early life and the opportunities he had in his formative years. Today, Mary Arden's name is remembered, in part, because of her connection to the greatest playwright in English literature. Her family home in Wilmcote, known as Mary Arden's House, is a popular tourist attraction in the region, allowing visitors to learn more about her life and legacy. Though little is known about her personally, her importance in Shakespearean history cannot be overlooked. Mary Arden's life reminds us of the powerful influence that family, education, and social networks can have on shaping the lives of future generations. Despite the struggles she faced, she ensured that her children, particularly William, would go on to leave a lasting mark on the world.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe our channel.